Sometimes we carry emotional burdens for too long. Letting go doesn't erase the past, but it helps us move forward. Life feels lighter and brighter when we forgive ourselves, leave the pain behind, and focus on what truly matters. This is a story of Emma, who learned to let go emotional burdens to feel better. Emma walked up a quiet hill, carrying a heavy basket filled with stones. The weight made her arms hurt, but she kept going. At the top of the hill, there was a peaceful lake surrounded by tall trees. It was a place Emma hadn't visited since she was a teenager, a place she used to go when life felt too hard. This time, she wasn't here to escape. She was here to face what she had been avoiding for years. Each stone in her basket stood for something she carried in her heart: guilt, anger, or regret. Some stones were small, like tiny moments she couldn't forget. Others were big and heavy, like painful memories she didn't know how to let go of. For a long time, Emma had ignored her feelings. She kept busy with work, stayed distant from friends, and avoided deep conversations. But her feelings started to catch up with her. She couldn't sleep well, she snapped at the people she loved, and in quiet moments, she felt lonely. One day, her best friend Claire noticed and said, "Emma, you've been carrying so much inside. Maybe it's time to let some of it go." Emma didn't say much at the time, but Claire's words stayed in her mind. That's why she had come back to this hill, carrying her basket of stones, ready to let them go. Emma sat by the lake, pulled out the first stone, and looked at it. "This is for the time I failed my driving test," she said. She still felt embarrassed when she thought about it, even though it had happened years ago. She threw the stone into the water. It made a small splash, and the ripples spread out before fading away. The next stone was bigger. "This is for the fight I had with Mom before she passed away," Emma said quietly. Her hands shook as she held the stone. She had been carrying the guilt of that argument for years, wishing she could take back her harsh words. With tears in her eyes, she threw the stone into the lake, watching it disappear. One by one, Emma pulled out the stones. "This one's for the friendship I ruined because of jealousy," she said, tossing it into the water. "This one's for the opportunities I missed because I was too scared to try." Each stone she threw made her basket lighter, and her heart began to feel lighter too. Finally, she reached the last stone. It was the heaviest of them all. "This is for all the times I blamed myself," Emma said, "for being too hard on myself, for thinking I wasn't good enough." She held the stone tightly for a moment, then took a deep breath. With all her strength, she threw it into the lake. It made the loudest splash of all, and the ripples went far across the water before fading into stillness. The basket was empty now, but Emma didn't feel empty. Instead, she felt free. Walking back down the hill, Emma smiled for the first time in a long time. She realized that letting go didn't mean forgetting what had happened. It meant forgiving herself and others. It meant deciding not to carry the weight of her past anymore. From that day on, Emma promised herself to focus on the present and the future, not the pain of the past. The lake, the stones, and the hill had helped her find a new way to live, with a lighter heart and hope for the days ahead. Moral of the story: at times, we hold on to emotional burdens for far too long. Releasing them doesn't change the past, but it allows us to move forward. Life becomes lighter and more fulfilling when we forgive ourselves, let go of the pain, and center our attention on what truly matters.